Is there a more amazing feeling than having the fresh sea air blowing by and taking a deep breath of that briny, fresh breeze? Also, the sound of the waves lapping on the beach. Hi, everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you are feeling happy today. If you haven't already guessed, I am not in Much Wenlock at the moment. I am actually in Wales, North Wales, on the coast, in a place called Harlech, which is very famous for two things. First of all, it has one of the most famous golf courses, St David's Golf Course, here in Harlech, and it also has a rather magnificent castle as well. One of the most striking landmarks in this area, certainly from all of the man-made things around here. However, of course, nothing can compete with all of this. How can you compete with nature? Mother Nature always wins. Have you noticed that? I found some very interesting things whilst walking along the sand. For example, I found some of this seaweed. I'm not quite sure what type of plant or what type of thing this comes from, but you will often find this type of thing on the beach in England. It has washed upon the beach. At the moment, the tide is going out. So the tide has already been in today, and now it is going back out once more. By the way, in case you're wondering, Mr. Steve is also here, but he is doing something else. He's going for a swim. So in a moment or two, we might actually get to see Mr. Steve go in to the sea. Because, as you know, Steve likes swimming. He enjoys it very much. So we will see. We will wait for a few more moments and see if Mr. Steve is ready. He's over there changing from his clothes into his swimming shorts. So that is worth staying for, don't you think? By the way, for those who are wondering, on Thursday there will be a live stream. Thursday, the 31st of October 2024, we are celebrating 18 years on YouTube. And one of the reasons why we've come here is because Steve has decided to have a break from his work. So we thought it would be lovely to come somewhere different, to a place we haven't been for a very long time. The last time we came here to Harlech was many, many years ago. But we are once again here. Here he comes. Mr. Steve is now ready. He's going to go in to the sea. Hello, Mr. Steve. Here he comes. Mr. Steve is here. Can you first of all go over there and show us your beautiful... Look at that. So there is Mr. Steve, ready to go into the ocean. This might be the last time we ever see Mr. Steve. He might just get swept out to sea. Hello, Mr. Steve.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, wonderful, beautiful viewers from across the globe.
We are somewhere different today. We've come to Wales. I've already introduced the place. Harlech, a wonderful place. Many people come here, by the way, to retire. They retire once they've stopped working, because the actual town of Harlech, in fact, I could probably show you if I move the camera like this. Harlech is over there in the distance. In the very, very distance over there is Harlech. So that's where it is. Mr. Steve is about to take a swim in the ocean. I wonder if we can hang around for a while.
I think this is going to be a slow, embarrassing affair because the water is very cold and I want to take my time and I don't want to look and embarrass myself on the camera, Mr. Duncan. So maybe you could just let me go and paddle first, cut away, and then when I'm feeling braver, I'll go all the way in.
I think we're going to come with you actually, Steve. No.
By the way, if there was any doubt that we were by the seaside, here is some seaweed, which I think is quite tasty. Apparently you can eat it. I don't think I'll eat that one.
Please, Steve, do not eat anything that you find on the beach.
People
because
do eat seaweed.
Yes, well, I'm sure they do, but not that seaweed. Don't eat that. Anyway, come on, Steve. Come on, Steve. It's not the live stream now. We're recording this.
Right, the sun's out. I'll take my glasses off.
Come on, Steve. Steve is now going into the ocean. If we never see Mr. Steve ever again, think of him. Speak his name through the ages. There he goes. So Mr. Steve is now going off into the ocean. I was hoping to have some last words, some final words before he went. Oh, where's he going? Come on, Mr. Steve. Get on with it. Come on. Why is he taking so long? There he goes. So Mr. Steve is now stepping into the ocean. I think he might be trying to swim across to Ireland. So if you carry on going that way and you turn left, you can actually get to Ireland. Let's see. Is he there? Oh yes, there's Mr. Steve. He's gone in. He's actually gone into the sea. He's in the sea, everyone. It's official, although I get the feeling it might be very cold. What about you out there in YouTube land? Have you ever been in the sea? I have to say I've never done it, and I will never do it because I don't like water, and I definitely don't like swimming, not at all. We can only just about see you, Mr. Steve. You are just a tiny dot. Maybe if I turn the camera around. Okay, Steve, we get it. And look over here as well. We have the sun as well that is now getting ready to set. So in around about 1 hour from now, the sun will actually set. I don't think we're going to stay here for that because we have to get back. We are around about 2.5 hours away from where we live, so we do have quite a long journey to take back. Meanwhile, Mr. Steve, there he is. If you look very closely, you can see Steve running into the sea. I think he's trying to swim across to the nearest land, which I think is Ireland. It might actually be the Isle of Man, I'm not sure, but the nearest land from here, I think, is Ireland. I'm going to go with that. It will be very interesting to find out how long Steve will be in the water for, because it is actually freezing cold today. It is really, really cold. By the way, there are some lovely phrases in English that we can use to express with the word sand. We can talk about the sand of time, or of course the sands of time. We are talking about time itself as it goes by, as it flows, as our lives go by. We are all witnessing the sands of time ebbing away. It's also quite windy here on the beach. As I mentioned at the start of this video, we are having a lot of breezy weather here, which is quite normal. I don't know where Steve has gone now. I've lost Steve. Can anyone see Mr. Steve? Can anyone see Steve? He's out there somewhere, but I don't know where he is. Mr. Steve, please come back. I'm going to see if I can find him. Come on, Mr. Steve. Come back now. You're starting to scare me. Oh my goodness. I'm getting wet. Come on, Steve, come back now. That's it. You've had your fun. You're starting to worry me now. I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Can anyone see Mr. Steve? Because I can't see him anymore. He's just a tiny dot out there in the ocean. So I suppose the big question is, will Mr. Steve make it back alive? Will he make it back to the shoreline, or will he drift forever and ever across the ocean? I will leave you now. Don't forget, we are live on Thursday. Thursday, the 31st of October, is the 18th anniversary of my YouTube channel being created. I will give you one last look around here. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So there we are, going off into the distance along the beach. This is a huge length of beach. It really is quite a big stretch of beach. As you can see, it goes on for many miles along the coastline. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope it's been interesting. We thought we would do something different today. We thought we would come and spend some time by the sea, because we spend most of our time in Much Wenlock amongst the trees. There is no ocean in Much Wenlock, unfortunately. Mr. Steve, where are you? Oh, there he is. I can still see Mr. Steve. Don't worry, don't panic. He's still there. So find out whether Mr. Steve makes it back alive on Thursday, and I will see you then as well. Don't forget, the time will be 2 p.m. UK time, Thursday, the 31st of October. Also, it will be Halloween as well. We will be live with you then. That's all for now. This is Mr. Duncan on the beach at Harlech, saying thanks for watching, see you later, and of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care of yourselves, and of course, ta-ta for now.